Well, you may have heard that according to the president and the vice president, the border is secure. And they are trying to repeat this over and over and over, thinking that the American people will believe it. So we're going to delve into this topic today on Unmuted with Marcia, and I am just thrilled that you are joining us. You know, this immigration policy from the administration has caused so many problems across the country. And what I have found out by working with all of our counties in Tennessee is that when I'm talking to law enforcement officials and when I am talking to elected officials and community leaders, they tell me every town's a border town. Every state is a border state. Now, our guest today is the executive director and CEO of the National Sheriff's Association, Jonathan Thompson. Thank you so much for joining us on Unmuted.
Well, it's a great honor, Senator, to be with you and to talk to the people of Tennessee, and of course to talk to all of our sheriffs there who are just great Americans.
Yes, they are indeed. And you know, one of the things that we are seeing, as I mentioned, is that the problems that are there at the southern border have now migrated across the country. So what are you hearing from sheriffs in other states? What are they seeing? Do they feel like they have a border town, border state problem?
Well, that's a great question, and we are hearing it resoundingly from almost every state in the union. And as somebody once said to me, if the border gets a cold, you can well expect most of America to come down with pneumonia pretty quickly, and it happened, right? What we've seen is just an enormous migration across our southern border, and we've seen come with it an enormous amount of illicit trade, illicit goods. Drugs are just pouring through, as you know, from your own discussions with your fellow senators and people around the state. And it's not getting any better. So every state, every community is being confronted with all of the things that happen when we have a border policy from the president that is not encouraging people to remain in place and come and follow the rule of law. And that's what we're seeing.
And, you know, one of the things that has been so interesting to me is our towns and cities and even our rural areas now are talking about the presence of gangs. Yeah. How has this been? It seems like this past year, they have just infiltrated every community in our state is seeing some kind of impact. Is that also nationwide?
We are seeing it, and that's the sad truth. And I infiltrated is the right word, is because it's become so part of the fabric in our country. You know, I was asked this on a panel the other day, and I think it's apropos, is that until we as a nation stand up and say we're either going to be a nation of laws and recognize the rule of law, and then when that happens, you know, the country can take a step back and say, how do we address this truly? And I think we haven't seen it yet. I think we've got a ways to go before the citizenry of this country really stand toe to toe with one another and say, this is it, enough is enough. I hope it comes soon.
Yeah. Well, I think so too. But one of the things that, in talking about dealing with this, recently in Tennessee, there was a report from our Tennessee Bureau of Investigation that Mexican cartels were active in the state. And I hear from our sheriffs that they say we don't have the training and the equipment to go head to head with these drug dealers or people that have been trained on how to push these drugs into communities.
You know, the criminal mind is devious beyond words, and the cartels, though, are smart beyond words. They have more money, they have more technology, they have more people, they have more resources at their disposal, and they've got a willing customer, an addicted customer as well. Now, what's happened even more so is this human smuggling is just a tragic situation. We are becoming our own human rights train wreck along the southern border, and we've got to stand up and we've got to say enough is enough. The cartels are sophisticated. They have an enormous network of financial support, and they have a very deep desire, right, to make money. And I like to say they wake up every day wondering, how can they make more money off the backs of the Americans? How can they take from America, which is what they want?
Yeah.
We've got to stand tall, and people like you are helping us do that.
Well, we're going to continue to do that. I am so appreciative for your time today. I know that this is really a brief introduction about the work that you and the National Sheriff's Association are doing to keep our communities safe. And Mr. Thompson, with that work, our audience can keep up with you on social media at National Sheriff and follow the work that you all are doing, because I know every citizen wants to help keep their community safe. So thank you so much for taking your time to join us today. And to our audience, you'll always find me on social media at Marsha Blackburn.
Thank you, Senator. Appreciate it.